Welcome everyone back to another episode of Macro Crypto, where we talk about anything and everything involving the crypto space. Before we dive into content today though, I want to give each and every one of you a big thank you for watching these videos and those who have subscribed to the channel. We hit a huge milestone of hitting 50 subscribers right before we started recording this video today. So thank you so much. I'm feeling extremely humbled by this experience so far. I honestly couldn't even fathom it starting out like this. So whether you find yourself here for different content purposes, whether it's coming out weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, or you're here for the DCA and the King of Crypto, Bitcoin, however you found this channel, I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate you as a viewer. Now, with that being said, with today's content, if you do enjoy this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and head over to our Twitter page at Macro Crypto Club and give us a follow. Like always, link will be down in the description. Let's dive into our dollar cost and averaging video today into the King of Crypto, Bitcoin. Can't say it enough. Bitcoin runs the market. It gives the market its bull push within the crypto space in general. So we track it, we follow it through the Heikin Ashi Candles. Thank you again, Benjamin Cohen. And also we will track our smart contract plays, of course, Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, and so on. That way, whatever your fancy is in regards to the smart contract plays, we will be able to track that along with us here at Macro Crypto. I do want to start before we get into Heikin Ashi Candles to also point out the reason why we dropped this on Monday is also view the market from the weekend, but mainly to set up a standard that our way of thinking, how our perspective works within the crypto space is building a base within your portfolio full of the basically the projects or platforms that you believe in at the end of the day are going to be here at the end of the day, I should say, or at the end of the road, or in 5 to 10 years, a macro view into those platforms and projects that you have complete conviction in. And for us, that's through Bitcoin and Ethereum, okay? Those are our two where we're building our building blocks. The base of the pyramid for us, where we have the most assets for, is through Bitcoin, Ethereum. As we move up into that will be other smart contract plays, like for instance, Polkadot. But what is yours? If you want to leave in a comment section how you're building your base, are you dollar costing averaging in to, the projects that you have conviction for? How are you playing it? All right, let me know. So diving into our Heikin Ashi Candles, again, thank you, Benjamin Cohen, for turning us on to these. We're quickly going to just go over them. Again, we want to see the green, and we finally have seen it. Last week, we got a little push into ending a green with a nice wick above. We do want to start to see more and more of these large green candles with wicks above. The higher we can get those wicks, the better it is for us, for our future on a week-to-week basis. These are our Heikin Ashi Candles trading weekly. The reason why we look at the Bitcoin view again is because Bitcoin is the ruler and the market maker. It predicts the market for everything else. If Bitcoin's succeeding, everything will sure to follow. That's how the market runs within crypto currently. And if that changes, we'll adapt our approach, of course. So we do love to see this green, but don't get carried away because if we've seen green before, we see a little red, we go green. All right, how we're going to track this? Do we have a huge bull run ahead of us? Well, that's going to be wait to see. So right now, we do have this green. Got a lot of excitement in the market. We're still at only 44,000 in comparison. That number not too long ago was a very bearish number. So just keep that in perspective as we were trending down. But of course, I'm with you. We see that number 44,000 and above. You can't help but get excited as this trend reversal is taking place, hopefully, as we can see a few more green candles on a couple weeks moving ahead, okay? Now, another bullish news, Tesla is now holding about 2 billion Bitcoin, or $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, I should say, which is just bullish. If more companies are adapting Bitcoin into their portfolio or into their balance sheet, that's just huge news for the crypto space in general. Also, Jack Dorsey's Cash App has integrated Bitcoin Lightning Network into Cash App itself. So now seamlessly, anybody can send Bitcoin across the world very quickly, which you could have done through the Bitcoin network, but this is just going to give an on-ramp to so many more individuals. I think well over 1 million people for use cases. So if you're not able to do that through Bitcoin and the blockchain of Bitcoin, that is, then at least this gives other users that option to send Bitcoin to one another around the world. Just obviously more bullish news into the crypto space. And KPMG of Canada, one of the top or the big four accounting firms in the entire world, has added crypto to their balance sheet as well. So they're following Tesla and a bunch of others. The two cryptos that I'm aware of is Bitcoin and Ethereum. They use Gemini, which is based out of New York. If you know the Winklevoss twins, they created Gemini. If you've seen the social network, which was the creation of Facebook, the Winklevoss twins were the ones of the two rowers, okay? But Gemini is that custody, basically, that helped allow them to buy Bitcoin and Ether. Only more bullish case news for both Bitcoin and Ether. Why it's such a big play in my portfolio as well is because I think the big players will continuously pile into those two cryptocurrencies for the future, which is only going to increase the value, but also create the stability for them in the future as well, okay? And Valkyrie Bitcoin Miners ETF is approved for NASDAQ listing, which will actually be trading tomorrow under WGMI. Again, more bullish news. Bitcoin on the NASDAQ. You know, it just creates more avenues for people to get into Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. So anything involving news with Bitcoin, especially bullish news, is great for the space. Just understand that. That's why we go over it, especially on a Monday leading into the week. It's important to understand that Bitcoin rules all. So why not continuously root for it? And I not only hold it as an investment, but I root for it on a daily and weekly basis. Now, let's get basically whether you're here for this or not, we're doing our DCA. I do want to point out on a previous video that we started out, if in 2017, we dollar cost average in $100 per month, so doing a little over $1,200 per year into Bitcoin, by the end of 2021, we would have ended up with 1.1 or a little over 1.1 Bitcoin in total, and only spent $6,000 to get there, which would be a current value of just over $50,000. So yeah, you heard me right. You would have spent $6,000 only using $100 per month into Bitcoin from 2017 for the next 5 years, and you would have now that $6,000 would actually be worth a little over $50,000. Okay, that's a little over like an 8.2x, I believe, from your initial investment. Huge ROI. So why not get ourselves into doing that right now? It only makes sense. So we've started tracking this from January 10th and on. We are currently on January 7th. Sorry, my dog gave a little bark. Might give some more. Hey, Kuja, stop. So back to the content. But what we're doing here is an amount of Bitcoin and SATOSHIs. And my dog's just not going to stop. We're just going to keep fighting through this. Okay. What we want to do is we're just going to pull these two down. The reason why we also track SATOSHIs is the smallest denomination of a Bitcoin, and we want to get as many SATOSHIs as possible. If you don't think of it as like, oh man, I'm never going to own just one Bitcoin. No, just try to own as many SATOSHIs as possible. That at the end of the day will push you to get into more and more and more Bitcoin. In reality, just realize right now, also over here, we are going to be tracking our monthly in comparison to our weekly. So within the month, we have 4 weeks, which we will total $400 when it's all said and done. So at the beginning of every month, we are also tracking if we just put 400 right into Bitcoin, where we'll be. Right now in a monthly, because we spent 800 instead of just 500, we have just over 1.8 million SATOSHIs at 1.2 million on the weekly. So if you want to start to train your mind, think about how many SATOSHIs you're stacking, because I can only see one day eventually where you and I will be buying a candy bar from the store and it will be 294 SATOSHIs for that candy bar. You know, just throwing that out there. Things will be priced in SATOSHIs, whether that's in America or that's in other countries around the world. I can guarantee you within the next couple of years, if El Salvador continues on the path they're on, you will see them do that first if they're not already doing that. And that is so vital for this world because Bitcoin is something different to everybody. Let me get that out there, that just because you or I or someone else views it as a store of value, or if myself, I view it as a form of payment or financial freedom away from a government that has instability within their monetary policy. Not everyone has the US dollar, and right now we're seeing a lot of instability with the US dollar as well, especially with inflation. So that's even touching here at home for me personally in America. So for you out there, however you view Bitcoin, everyone views it differently, but it is so decentralized, and that's the key factor behind Bitcoin is why I'm so bullish on it, is because no one owns the entity. No one even knows the creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. And why not own something that is yours and only yours, and no one can take that from you, ever. Now, unless you give them private keys, which, of course, security tip. Don't ever give anyone private keys. Now, current price of Bitcoin, of course, that price is changing. But by the time we were creating this content, when I was putting in the numbers and we made, because we're following this, I'm purchasing right now through Gemini as well, $100 per week right into Bitcoin. And currently at the value of each of these, we are, remember, at 800 for the 2 months that we've placed into our Bitcoin, which we're currently at a profit of $22.83. And with our weekly, we've only put 500 in, but we had a $47.45 profit. That's because during this time, we were able to buy at lower rates on a weekly basis instead of we missed that on the monthly. Okay, so that kind of explains that in the Bitcoin. Remember, stack Satoshis. How many Satoshis are you stacking? Right now, we're stacking almost 250,000 Satoshis per week almost. And that's only $100. You know, if you only can do 50, cool. If you can do 1,000, good for you. Get after it, okay? It's all about stacking Bitcoin and Satoshis, getting that into your wallet. Now, jumping over to our smart contract plays, we got ETH, where ETH price is just over 3,100. We were able to get a little over 0.03 ETH just now. Within Polkadot for this week of giving $100, we were able to get over 4 Polkadot for this week at a price of sitting at $22.41. If you're a Cardano holder, boo. Just joking, your Cardano army, if you found your way here. All right, at $1.19, you're able to get 84 ADA into your wallet at this time right now. Of course, we will be tracking how over time, how much profit and loss, or how, in comparison to one another. The one piece of advice is never buy Tron, but that's, remember, just opinion. So TRX right here, Tron, not a fan whatsoever, copycats, but we're using it as a chance for you to see for yourself. If you've come across Tron, get yourself out, get yourself into a different smart contract platform. Just overall, Tron is nowhere near their all-time high over 30 cents. They're sitting at just 7 cents. If you look at a platform like Ethereum, its all-time high used to be back in 2017 was 1,400. It's doubled that. ADA all-time high is just sitting barely over their all-time high. So at least they're a little bit more of a bullish aspect than Tron, but I can't say enough bad things about Tron. And I'm not a huge fan of Solana either. If you've seen the videos, you understand that. But, you know, to each their own. If you like Solana, you like centralization, it's just not for me. Now, Luna, Terra Luna, that is sitting at $57.91. We just got over 1 Terra Luna. And we'll add a few more over here as well as time goes along. Probably Cosmos, hint, hint, as you can see with the logo. Cosmos, why not? And probably Binance Smart Chain as well, just because I dislike it so much as well. But to give you a little bit of tracking purposes in comparison to all those. So as we track these currently right now, Ethereum's giving us a profit loss of about $50 right now. We got a profit into 50 with Polkadot at 23. Cardano, we're sitting at $4.91 currently right now. Tron is actually giving us $47. Surprise, surprise. Usually, you know, you eat your own words when you hate on something. Solana is at $29. Terra Luna is not sitting very pretty at $46.11 currently right now. The only loss currently is within Luna. And Avalanche is actually sitting at a nice, pretty $45.66 within our dollar costing averaging into these different platforms, smart contract platforms that is Remember, the reason why we go over this is to bring you back home onto Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a lot slower in the innovation factor, but the decentralization of it is the big key, okay? And the smart contract plays are here because you want to build your base, whether it's through Bitcoin or one of these smart contract plays, because everything's then built on top of that. You might want to get into the next altcoin or the next NFT, whatever that may be, but build your base first before you jump into those, because everything's being built on these protocols. So at the end of the day, this is where you want to create your wealth, in my opinion, not financial advice. I hope you enjoyed today's content. Like always, subscribe and give a thumbs up to the video if you enjoyed the content, that is. Thank you again so much, everybody. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace.